Hi and welcome to this Saturday weekend vlog. Today I start my day with a swim and some shopping, and this is what's coming up in this video. I cooked some East African Muchomo, which is basically roasted meat. Typically this meat will be roasted on a pit fire. Here we are after a swim, and then I headed shopping at the local market. I just wanted to pick up mainly oranges actually, but then I saw the plantain and I picked them up as well. The green plantain, I just peel them and I cook some. I make it into a dough like a fufu and just eat it with some stew. Sometimes that is just me that eats it. And then I headed to Aldi for some shopping as well. I do my shopping in a various number of stores every week. I'm getting tired of actually shopping every week, to be honest. There is tired in the sense that the activities are so many, and I try to pace myself out as much as possible and not overwhelm myself. And what I'm doing here is self-explanatory, and I just want to take a pause on that and continue to talk about my days, my weekends. I typically try to do something for myself that's relaxing in terms of exercise, which I find releases some endorphins, which makes me relax. And when I got back today, I actually wound up having a nap. I couldn't put the shopping away. Often my boys help me put my shopping away, and then I tidy it up maybe a little bit and just sort some things out a little bit more, um, the way in which I could, potentially how everybody could find everything in a specific order. Um, the meat is basically beef, and I also had some cow skin, which is, I believe the Nigerians call it pomo, um, which I took out of the freezer and decided to add into the meat that was boiling, which is the beef. And I do not throw away the stock. So the stock, I would keep it, which I did later, and I use it perhaps to do some to cook some rice maybe, or add it into another type of stew, whether it's a vegetable stew or a meat stew. This is a very simple, typical East African snack or even a meal. Now it's quite big enough to actually become a meal, which is what I'm preparing for a Saturday evening. The plantain, we do have uh, plantain in Uganda. We have a different type of reddish banana. It's called gonja, and typically speaking, it's not necessarily served with muchomo, which is roasted or fried beef. Um, but this is very easily available here in the UK, and this is the reason why I'm using it. A very quick, simple, light meal for us on this Saturday, where I came back and I was just totally, really just exhausted from the week. But I managed to gather some energy at around 6 p.m. and this is the time that I'm actually cooking our dinner. How is everybody and how is life going with the current events that are happening in the Middle East? Yeah, sometimes it makes me sit back and just wonder about what could actually be next. I mean, nobody was expecting. Well, actually, we were expecting it because I have to just tell a quick spiritual, um, should I say, dream that I had. I dreamt, and I don't know whether this is for this channel, but I dreamt that there was I saw some of these aircrafts, the war aircrafts, in a dream, and they were as low as my window, which is upstairs. And in this dream, they were just flying around like they were actually watching the airspace, just maneuvering around. And I remember in the dream, I pulled the curtain back and I saw some of the pilots in the aircraft, and I just waved and they waved back. And pretty much that was it. And I believe that a year later, I had this dream, I believe 3 years ago or 4 years ago. A year after that, the Russian war started. And now we are looking at the kind of jet fighters that I saw in the dream in the current Middle Eastern war. But let's just leave that aside. It's just something that was going around in my mind over the last few days. And I remember on this channel, I also spoke about food piling. The United Kingdom government did tell us to start stockpiling. Not necessarily that it was because of the war, but it could be disaster. I mean, we've seen floods in the UK in some parts. They had to hand them over water to drink, and I believe some people could not even go to get food. So they were being supported by charities, organizations, and the government. So I think what I just want to say is that we can try and prepare in our own small ways by keeping some handy supplies at home that we may need in an emergency. Now here back to, I wish everybody well, and I hope that we stay safe, we stay looking out for one another, because it's such a necessary time for that. I am seasoning my meat, which had boiled down, black pepper, white pepper, thyme, salt. I boiled it in onion and garlic and ginger. I also added some paprika to give it some kind of a smoky appearance and taste. I believe I achieved that. Ordinarily speaking, chili can be added to it. I don't necessarily like to add chili flakes or cayenne pepper because it's not a typical type of pepper that would be used in this dish. One would probably add habanero pepper crushed, or the actual green finger length type of chilies. Those are the typical ones we use in East Africa. And then of course, like I said, the powders, ginger, turmeric as well, that I added to this. And the idea of this roasting, pan roasting, it's dry roasting. This is what it is. Typically speaking, this is how it's done originally. What I'm doing here is exactly how I grew up learning how to do roast meat. In the absence, or if one does not want to use an oven, I remember those days we used stoves a lot. We used ovens, not so much, maybe not so much even, but we used stoves a lot growing up. And we did, of course, have gas cookers to use. But if you were using it on a stove that uses charcoal, this is typically what would be done. These days, of course, stoves are a wide variety, and stoves can actually be used to roast. Barbecues can be used to roast. Ovens can be used to roast this. But this is typically how I wanted to do this today. I didn't want to put it in the air fryer, of course, which you can also do. And that is it, really. It took approximately, I believe, 20 minutes to get it browned up and looking, tasting smoky and barbecue-ish. So for the accompaniment, the salad, typically speaking, it will be tomatoes and onions cut in thin slices, a bit of salt and a little lemon or lime. If you like, you can add olive oil to your salad. I didn't add any, and I garnished it with some coriander, which is something we absolutely love to add to our salads and foods in East Africa as well. And there we are, that's the salad done. There was some garlic that chopped in there, but I didn't add much of it because I was going to use it actually for cooking something else. So there we are, there's the salad, which is called kachumbari, which accompanies very much a lot of muchomo type of dishes. Of course, it's not restricted to tomatoes and onions. You can add, and I've added before, what do you call it? Lettuce or cabbage for that matter. Very, very thinly sliced cabbage salad is also another way to go with this. There's my coriander, which I had readily chopped previously. If you're new here, thank you for joining me. Thank you for watching up to now. I really do appreciate you. I hope that as many of you that are watching my videos are finding value. Please do like, subscribe, and support my channel. And here we are. I've presented my East African with chomo with plantain. And yeah, that's it. I hope you have enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. I see you next time, and God bless you. Bye bye.